All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to job searching during the time of COVID. Let me see here. So, my name is Kelley Gould. Oops, sorry. I'm doing remote control on Vickie's computer, so it's a little bit hard to get the hang of here. But so this is job search during COVID-19. So as you know, there's a global pandemic happening, but we're here to kind of help you navigate the job search, whether you're just beginning that job search or if you're looking for a career change as an alum. Wherever you happen to fall into, we are here to help you. So, my name is Kelley Gould. I'm a career counselor with Career Services, and I'll let Vickie introduce herself too, and then we'll get started.
Had to unmute myself. Hi, I'm Vickie Coale, and I'm the Associate Director of Employer Relations at Career Services.
Wonderful. So just a couple housekeeping items here. Again, welcome. We're so happy that you are here to, converse with us and engage with us as we help you with your job search. Your videos and your microphones are automatically turned off. We ask that any questions that you might have, please type them into the chat, and we will save them for the end, for the Q&A at the end. All career launch week sessions are being recorded. We will email you the link as well as the slide decks next week. They should be hopefully captioned as well. So if you need that extra accessibility, we will definitely do that for you. And they'll be available on our website as well as all the links and websites that we refer to in any presentation will be included within the slide deck that will be sent to you. And then if you're interested in taking the StrengthsFinder assessment with the optional interpretation by me, I might add, I'm the StrengthsFinder coach. Feel free to click that link in the slides when they are sent to you and fill out the interest form. And we'll get back to you next week about that as well. All right. So let me get control here. So at the end of this presentation, we'd like you to walk away with 3 mindset themes. So we would like it if you were proactive. Don't be paralyzed. Think about how you can best use this time and really make sure you're using your resources. So we want to empower you to do that. Be creative. So think about other things that you could be doing at this time in addition to the job search that helps you gain skills, grow as a human, all of that good stuff. And any job is a good starting point. So even if you have to kind of take like a part-time position that isn't necessarily your dream job, it's still going to give you valid skills and valid experience for the future. And then be reassured. So there's a lot of empathy for the class of 2020 and all college students really at this time, because it's a struggle. Like if you have a solid sized gap because of COVID-19 or because of everything else going on, there's empathy there. Like you probably won't have to explain too much about what happened if there's a large gap, because a lot of employers are having a lot of empathy for the class of 2020 and other college students as well. Really anybody caught up in this situation. All right, so now is a great time to start exploring, and that can look like a couple different things for you. So you can explore yourself and your skills and your interests and your values. You can explore your resources, what's out there to kind of help you gain a network as well as search for jobs in the future, and then help you explore what's out there as well. So what positions are available? What are my options? What remote options are available? Really anything like that to kind of help you get your foot in the door. All right, so to explore yourself, you really want to reflect on what you need. So you want to think about what your non-negotiables are at this time. So that could include financial need, any healthcare benefits, things that really meet your values, the company culture, as well as diversity and inclusion focused. That's a really, really important thing right now, especially with everything going on. So if that's something that you want to focus on for your non-negotiables, go for it. And to find how a company meets these non-negotiables, take a look at their mission statement, their value statements, but also take a look at what is kind of going on with their company. Oops, hold on, I got something happened here. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So also kind of take a look at their Instagram page, their Facebook page, but take a look at things that are criticizing them as well and see kind of what's within their company culture and that too. But it's okay to take a position just for the financial need. Like if you need to pay your rent, if you need to pay your, your phone bill, your electricity bill to survive, then it's okay to take a job that's not your dream job. You can use that time while working on that job that's not your dream job to focus on finding that dream job as well. All right, and then you want to reflect on what you want too. So these are your negotiables. So things that you could potentially go without for a little while if necessary. So, and that could be anything that was on the last slide as well. Like maybe say you don't necessarily need the money, then you can kind of focus on, values and things like that as well. But to explore these things, there's a couple different things that you can do. And this is just kind of a short list. There's a lot more to this. But think about your favorite experiences that you've had and think about what they all have in common. Like, was it socializing with your coworkers? And that's a sign that you probably need that within a work environment to feel happy or fulfilled. And so think about what those things have in common and then write them down too, just so that you can see a visual of everything that you're kind of looking for in a position. And then make a list of your values and sort them into negotiables and non-negotiables. So this is where a computer can come in handy because you can kind of sort things into charts and things like that and point arrows to different things. And that can also give you a good visual on what you need. And be aware that this might take some time and some exploration, and maybe you would take a not so great job, but you're going to find out exactly what your non-negotiables are because of that not so great job. Maybe you're working all by yourself, but then you find out that you really need a team or something like that. So just reflect, talk to those around you. That's what career services is for as well. We can help you talk these things out and figure out what jobs could potentially be a good fit because of that. All right. And so explore your resources as well. As I mentioned, talk with people around you. Sometimes they can see things that you might not necessarily see in yourself. So ask some questions, gather information, but don't gather too much information where it's influencing you too much. That's kind of a nice fine line there, a good balance. And this is also a great way to build your network because your family, your friends, your partner, your coworkers, anyone can be in your network, and they might have some insights about you, and then they can speak to other people within their network about those insights. So any conversation that you might have is a good conversation. And then, like I said before, meet with career services. With us, you can chat about your interests, your values, any kind of career ideas you've been thinking about. And we can definitely help you go a little bit deeper with that too, in terms of, what your non-negotiables are, what you really, really need in a position. And we can also help you with career choice and things like that as well. So by taking an assessment, it can be a great resource for exploration. And so StrengthsFinder, like I mentioned before, or Pathway U, which kind of collects values and interests and things like that to give you some occupations that could potentially be a good fit for you. And assessments like these can also help you gather language around your skills and your interests and values, which can be really, really helpful when building your resume, when interviewing, really anything where you need to describe yourself, which is like life. Assessments can be really helpful to help give you that language for that. And then at Career Services, we can also help you get ideas on where to start looking for jobs, or post-grad opportunities. So grad school, internships, volunteering, anything like that, we can help you out with. Okay. And there are a lot of online resources as well. We are on our website, we have a virtual career center module that can also give you some ideas as to where to look for job search, as well as how to build your resume, cover letter, all of that good stuff. But you can also look at ONET, and then these links will be sent to you again when we send the slides to you. But ONA and the Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook, they both cover a ton of occupations, and it covers like skills that are usually needed for that, education, that you could get ideas around education to lead to these occupations, as well as, just what is best used in order to get to where you want to go. And then connect to on LinkedIn with Boise State alumni and others within the community who might be doing similar things to what you want to do. So LinkedIn has this cool thing where if you go to the Boise State University page, it has an alumni tab. And in there, it has basically all the alums that have ever gone to Boise State that are currently on LinkedIn. So that's a really good place to connect with alums who have had the same major as you, and just to see kind of what they're doing. Sometimes you don't even need to connect with them. Sometimes you can just kind of like lurk on their LinkedIn profiles, just to see, what they've been up to and get ideas on what companies are around that are hiring students with your major or with your skill set. And then explore, what can I do with this major on the Career Services website? So this is probably my favorite resource that we have. Even if you know what you want to do with your major, it can be helpful, number one, to find language around that major so that you can put them into the job search engine, things like that. But it also leads to the Occupational Outlook Handbook by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And then it also has a nice long list of professional associations that are associated with that major. And so those can be really, really helpful because they're automatic networks, I guess you could say. Sometimes they cost money to sign up for them, but they usually have discounts for students and new professionals. So sometimes they have their own like job search engines, conferences where you can network with people, and things like that. And What Can I Do with This Major compiles all of those professional associations so that you don't have to do a nice large Google search about what professional associations are within your major. Okay, and then you want to make the most of your time, and you can do this by building your LinkedIn, and I'll dive into some other things that you could do as well. But I just want to do a quick overview about how to make the most of your LinkedIn specifically. So in that headline, in your summary, or wherever you can, be clear on the job that you're looking for. In your headline, if you have to say like seeking marketing position, do that. You totally can, because it kind of helps their algorithm a little bit. So if employers are searching for marketing students, you might come up. So that's really what you want to do is try and make sure that the algorithm is really going in your favor. Include any meaningful experiences that you've had in addition to your relevant experiences. So this is something that you could potentially tailor depending on the job that you're looking for. You don't have to include every single experience that you've had on LinkedIn. It can just be the ones that are relevant to the positions that you're looking for. And I would almost recommend it in that way, just so they can see that immediately on your LinkedIn webpage. And stay active on LinkedIn. Follow your potential employers that you're interested in, and follow your value groups as well. If you're particularly interested in any kind of social justice groups, follow them. Do things like that, because you really want to make sure that LinkedIn is kind of showcasing your values as well as your personality. And intentionally engage with posts. Like things, comment on things, and be insightful with those comments if you can as well. And it can just be helpful to, number one, have people see you from that company. And it can just be helpful for you to think about these things from a critical thinking kind of lens. And then basically connect with everyone that you know, essentially. So friends, family, classmates, coworkers, faculty, any guest speakers that have come to your class. They are great resources, and they're usually happy to connect as long as you put in that notes section. Send them a little note and say kind of where you know them from. It can be really helpful for them to connect with you. And so check in with them if you want to message them, and just check in with them and see how they're doing. This is kind of a tough time for everyone. So yeah, see how they're doing. It can be a great way to start that conversation. And you never know who might be able to connect you with your next job. And it's a two-way street too. I know networking can be kind of tough in terms of, being nervous to talk with people and things like that. But remember that, you can help them as well. And maybe it could be something as simple as just buying them a cup of coffee for helping you out. Or potentially, a couple years down the line, they might need you for their next position as well. So keep that in mind too when you're connecting with people on LinkedIn. All right. And then explore and build on your skills as well. If you have a lot of downtime, or if you have like a part-time job and you are trying to figure out what else to do with your time. Um, oops. One second. Okay. So take a class through Coursera or edX, or anything else that you find kind of online. But these are usually free, like unless you want to get like the certificate for it. That's usually when you have to pay, but you can still add these classes on your resume and things like that, especially if you do like a little project through them or get inspired to do a project through them, things like that. So it's a great way to gain some new skills and learn more about yourself. Try your hand at freelancing. So Vickie's going to talk a little bit about like the gig economy and things like that a little bit later. But websites like Upwork and things like that are a great way to practice your skills while also earning a little bit of money. And it's not just for like graphic design or things like that. There's like data stuff on there. There's writing positions on there and writing work. So just even if you feel like your major isn't quite related to like the freelancing world, take a look at some of those websites and see if potentially you have a skill set that could fit within some of these freelancing positions. And it helps you build your portfolio as well. So if you feel like you've done a pretty good job on something that you made for freelancing, add that to an online portfolio or even just a Microsoft Word portfolio just to gather some things, or Google Docs, just to have that ready to go in case employers are looking for portfolios. And then it can help you connect with companies and individuals to also expand your network. So that's kind of that's a definitely important part of it, but I think like building our portfolio and things like that is also super important for getting that next job. All right, and then find some webinars. There's a ton out there right now. It seems like companies and different recruiting firms and things like that are constantly putting out webinars. So you just have to find them. Sometimes you can go onto our website to find them. Sometimes you just have to do a Google search, but you'll usually find them. And with everything going on, make an effort to dive into diversity, inclusion, and social justice webinars and virtual discussions as well. Because just having another perspective and getting a higher glimpse of everything that's going on will probably only benefit you in the future. Plus, it'll benefit the world too. So in the chat, if you want to add some things, what are some other ideas for gaining and building skills? And you can just type it right now. I'm going to move on, but we would love to see any other ideas that you might have. All right, and then some things to remember while job searching, just to kind of to conclude this part of the presentation. So you want to follow through, respond in a timely manner. So that's usually within like 24 to 48 hours. Do what you're saying to do. Do what you say you're going to do. Woo, that's a little bit of a tongue twister for me. But show integrity in that way, like really doing what you say you were going to do. And so if you say you're going to do a project for someone, then follow through. Make sure you're doing it and really diving in as thoroughly as you can. Do your research. So you don't have to be an expert on the company. They don't expect you to be a super duper expert because that's kind of what they're there for. But know the basics, like know what they do, know their essentials, and know their values and things like that as well. And you can usually find that right on their website. And researching benefits you, and it can help you figure out whether that position and that company is a good fit for you in terms of company culture, values, take a look at those top 100 lists in terms of employers and make sure they treat their employees well, because you don't really want to be miserable as much as you can. So use your research to facilitate conversations, and that can be with employers, recruiters, people who work at that company that you're just kind of friends with. Really bring in some of what they do into those conversations, because that's probably just going to spark more questions and really create an engaging conversation, which will hopefully lead to some sort of opportunity in the future. And if not, then you just learn more about the company, and there's definitely nothing wrong with having a little bit more of that knowledge. And then show gratitude. Think about how you feel when people say like thank you to you in like a very sincere way, and show that same gratitude to whoever you kind of come into contact with within these companies, and within your network as well. And then practice self-care too. This is really, really important, especially because it's stressful out there. It's a stressful time. So it's tough to be at your best when you're not taking care of yourself. So really make sure that you're doing what makes you happy. I like to take a break from the news every once in a while because it stresses me out. But I still try and do, what makes me happy while also kind of helping society as well. And getting outside could be really helpful too. If from Boise, you know how nice it is here, how many trails there are. And even if you're an alum, you went here, so you know exactly how great Boise is. So really take advantage of those trails, or whatever happens to be around you, even if it's just walking around the block too. All right, so now I will turn it over to Vickie, who's talking about employers in the community and out and about.
Thank you, Kelley. I'm sorry about your screen sometimes. Every time I would touch mine, maybe to admit somebody, it would take over the screen. So sorry about that. You were having some problems with your slides. So, all the screen share stuff. Well, thank you. Kelley just gave you some great ideas for preparing for your job search and having the right mindset and the resources that are available to you. My part now is to get a little bit more down into the nitty gritty, where to find those jobs, how to do the job search. But I want to kind of start with, the kind of stuff that we're hearing now that can maybe get you down a little bit when you're hearing that, boy, the future is a little bit uncertain. Employers are rescinding job offers, or they're delaying any decisions about hiring. Employees are being furloughed, or maybe they're even being laid off. Companies are filing for bankruptcy and closing. We're hearing that on the news. And then you're hearing, well, companies just aren't hiring right now. Well, I just want to bring up to you that there really are some positives going on right now. We had a longer recession back in 2008-09, but this time it's predicted to be a little bit shorter because the economy was strong before the virus hit. And in a survey of 2009 alums, they're saying that they are advancing in their careers just as they hoped. So they're doing okay now. Many companies were able to quickly pivot to provide remote work, and even in their hiring processes, like they're doing all of the video interviews, they're doing virtual onboarding and virtual training. They're all set up for that now. And there really are still a lot of jobs out there, especially in some certain industries that I'm going to talk about. And then think about remote work. Remote work is really opening up new opportunities outside your hometown. You don't have to find a job right in Boise now if you aren't finding something, because a lot of companies now have decided that, hey, we know how to do this remote work thing, and we're going to offer those to people. So look for those. And then just remember, there's a lot of people out there to help. Alumni, other professionals, they understand what you're going through and they want to help. So we just don't want you to be discouraged, but we want you to take action. So first thing you'll want to do is understand where those hiring trends are right now. Know that there are certain sectors that are experiencing growth. Some of those are in healthcare, manufacturing, etc. So you're going to want to look there for jobs. And then you're going to need to be a little bit more flexible and maybe adaptable, adjust some of those expectations that you had. Maybe your dream job just isn't going to be available right now. So you might want to look outside that in other areas where your skills might be a good fit. And who knows, maybe you'll find another dream job that you never even thought about. And even if you don't, you're still going to be building your skills and your resume. So when that dream job does come along, you're going to be ready for it. And then know that you just might not land that full-time job right away, but there are so many opportunities out there for contract work, freelance, that whole gig economy that you hear about, and even postgraduate internship opportunities. You can, make money while you're looking for a job, and also you'll be building your skills and building your network as well. And then another thing you might not have thought about were those postgraduate service industries, Peace Corps and AmeriCorps. Maybe there's something there for you right now. So lots of things to consider there. Then, of course, you're going to need to find out who's hiring. Well, we have some suggestions about that. The first thing is to go to our Career Services website. Lots of good resources there. We've put together a whole document of companies that are hiring right now. We did this in response to the coronavirus. We also have a live feed of remote job opportunities that are posted on Handshake. So I just very quickly just want to go to our Career Services website, show you what I'm talking about. Right on our homepage here, if you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see this company's hiring now. So you just click on that. And then as you can see, and we update this all the time, we've put in places where you can go to look for those local companies are hiring. Or maybe you're looking for something in another area. There's some that are around the nation. Remote work, lots of good job boards for remote work, for freelance remote work, some search engines to go to for that. And then other resources. Remote work comes up a lot, as you can see. But there's lots of opportunities there. Other job search resources, a lot of these are really around, job search in 2020, job searching in a pandemic. So some resources for you to check out there. And then, of course, we're always here to help. So we encourage you to make an appointment with one of our career counselors. And then here's one place where we've listed those recently posted remote jobs on Handshake. These are updated daily. Here's the most current ones. And then you can just go right over here to go to Handshake and see all of the remote job opportunities that are on Handshake right now. Then I mentioned Handshake, and of course this is where we want you to go to explore jobs, because this is where employers are putting jobs, they're posting jobs specifically for university students. They're looking for Boise State students and alumni. So you definitely want to go there and look at the jobs. There's also events on there that I'm going to show you, and also our career fairs are going to be posted there. But also when you go to Handshake, make sure that you update your profile, because employers not only are going to be posting jobs and waiting for you to apply, but they are also going to be searching for you. And if your profile is up to date, you have an 80% better chance of an employer actually reaching out to you. So make sure that that profile is updated. And then also, you might not know this, but you can actually go into Handshake and follow employers. And if you do this, you're going to get notified whenever they post a job or whenever they're going to come to a career fair or host any other kind of event. So those are three things that you can do right on Handshake. And again, I'm going to go to Handshake to show you that. This is what it looks like when you log in. Now over here is going to be your initials. If you click on that, there's going to be a place where you can go and look at your profile and get that all updated. So make sure that you do that. And then here's where you're going to go and look for jobs. So click on that. And as you can see, there's over 5,000 jobs in there. So a little something for everyone. And then let's just say you want to, just filter that down a little bit. You're just looking for a full-time job. If you're here in Boise, you probably want to just look at the Boise jobs. If you're someplace else, you can put that there, your location. And then if you want to hone that down to maybe you just want to do something in marketing. You can see we've got 24 jobs in the Boise area around marketing right now. So that is a great way to go and look for jobs. Now, whenever you want to go back to your home page, you're going to click on those little people shaking hands, which I don't know if we're ever going to do again, but there you go. So then I talked about events and career fairs, and that's going to be over here. So you click on that, you can see all of these employers in there that they want to talk to you. They've got events going on. They're giving you information sessions about their company. So look and see who's there and get in there and listen to those. You can see that our webinars are listed there too. So go to your events page and see what's happening with employers. And then you're going to be able to find career fairs too. Now, you're going to click on it right now. You're not going to see anything, but we are going to be posting our career fair, which will be virtual this fall. It's probably going to be around mid-October. And that should be posted here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So once that is, you can go in there and see who's all coming and prepare for that as well. So another great resource for you on Handshake. Okay. So I just want to go back and make my screen big again. There we go. Also, I just want to let you know that both LinkedIn and Twitter have provided hashtags so that you can just go into the search bar and put hashtag hiring now, and it's going to come up with this big long feed of all these employers that are putting information out there about jobs that they're hiring for. So make sure that you go there and look at that. They even have a way that you can hone down your search with some filters as well when you go there. So just another resource to find opportunities. LinkedIn also has a job board. And then also use that network, just like Kelley was talking about utilizing your network to help you figure out what you want to do. Utilize your network to help you find jobs as well. And I'm going to go a little bit more into that, as well as BroncoLink, which is a platform that we have available to you to find alumni mentors. So I just want to go down to the network part. And so just think about everyone that you know. And of course, career services is at the top of the list because we can help you to find out what kind of jobs are available out there that might be a good fit for you. But think of all your family members, all your friends, former employees or professors, classmates, alumni, any associations and clubs or clubs that you belong to. You just never know who's going to be a good connection and who's going to know somebody that knows somebody and knows about an opportunity. So don't leave anybody out when you're trying to make those connections. One thing to remember when you're making connections is you're not just going to go out to all your network and say, hey, is there a job out there for me? Do you know where any jobs are? Make it more of a relationship. You can tell them about what kind of skills you have to offer a company if they know that, where there might be a good fit for you. And then also offer to help them with something. Make it a two-way street. Don't be just take and take and take and make sure that you give too. And I'm going to point out informational interviews. These might not be people that are in your network now, but these are people that you could actually add to your network. And Kelley touched on this a little bit. Ask to meet somebody for coffee. Maybe they work at a company that you're interested in and you'd like to find out more about what it is to work there and how you can make a connection in to the department that you're interested in. Just remember, again, you are, you're telling them about your skills and you're building a relationship with them. You're offering to help them. And then, like Kelley said, be grateful. Make sure that you follow that up right away with a thank you note via email or just a note. And that's really going to help you build your network. One more thing I wanted to say about informational interviews is at the end of the interview, always say, is there anybody else you think I should talk to? Because this will help you even grow your network further. All right. And then I mentioned BroncoLink. So this is an online mentoring platform, and it's offered to you through Career Services and our Alumni Center. And there are alumni and parents and other friends of the university on there that are just waiting to connect with current students and new alumni to provide mentoring. Maybe you aren't really looking for a full-time mentoring relationship, but maybe you just have a couple of questions that you want to ask. Maybe you want to find somebody that works at a particular company or was in the same major as you, trying to figure out what you want to do. You could just ask them a quick question. It doesn't have to be a full-on mentoring relationship, but sometimes these will just organically develop into more of a mentoring relationship. So go to BroncoLink. I am going to just show you what that looks like. It's taking its time. There you are. And then you just go in there, join the community, and start looking for people that might be a good mentor for you. Just a wonderful resource that Boise State has available to our students and alumni. Okay. And then just want to point out some other job search resources for you. We at Career Services have developed a virtual career center. This was even there before COVID, so we are definitely ahead of the curve there, ahead of our time. But you can just go into our virtual career center, and in there, you're going to be looking for a job. Go in there and click on that. And then here you are, job search. What type of position are you looking for? Well, you're looking for a postgraduate career position, so you click on that. And then here's some wonderful articles that'll help you with your job search. So that's right there on our Career Services website. And then Handshake, they're a great resource too. They have put together a page of blogs specifically for students to help you with your career search. So as you can see, there's things around getting hired remotely. This is kind of interesting. 500 companies that are hiring students right now. That might be interesting. And then a lot of other wonderful resources, articles that can help you with your job search. It's right there at your fingertips. I urge you to use that. Vault is another resource that's provided to you by your Career Services team. And when you go there, you're going to find out all kinds of information. You can research companies in there and explore jobs, lots of career advice. I made this link go specifically to the blog where they're talking about job search, so that you can go in there and look at all the articles that they have available to you. But you can explore the whole site. So utilize that too. That's there for you, provided by us at Career Services. And then lastly, you know that we're always here for you. So please make an appointment with a career counselor. Sit down one-on-one virtually at this point and talk about what it is that you want to do and how we can help you be successful to get there. So again, I want to bring back those 3 mindset themes that Kelley talked about at the beginning. Be proactive. Don't just sit back and say, oh, it's no use, because it really is use. Just get to work, utilize your resources, and get out there and make it happen. Also, remember, you're going to need to be a little bit more creative. You're going to cast a wider net than you normally would have. You're going to think outside what you normally would be looking for. Focus on what you're good at, what your skills are, and look at those jobs that might be a good fit for you. And then we want to just assure you that, there really is a lot of empathy for the class of 2020 and all college students. And there are a lot of alumni and other professionals out there that are just waiting to help you. And of course, Career Services is one of those. So remember, we are always here for you. With that, I think we're open to some questions. Kelley, do we have anything in the chat box yet?
Nope, not yet, but we'll give you a little bit to type in some questions, and we're happy to help.
Okay.
All right, it looks like Chris has a question. Okay, I do my best with Grammarly, but I'm not a great writer. I hope it's okay that I'm sharing this. I want a good cover letter tailored to each job I apply to, but many times I'm not exactly sure what to say or how to start. Yes, common. Absolutely, you're not alone there. Are there any resources available to help with that, or at least to get started? And then you mentioned the Virtual Career Center. Yeah, that's a great place to start for sure. We have some modules on there that can help you work through cover letters and what language to use, what formatting could be best to really express your skills and qualifications the best that you can. Career counselors and career advisors and coaches with Career Services, we can all help out with cover letters as well. So if you kind of want a personal view of it, feel free to connect with one of us. You can email us, or you can also make an appointment with us as well. We also have a virtual career center through, actually we have a virtual career counselor through Mary Sweeney. And so basically you upload your cover letter to the system. And Mary will take a look at it and get back to you with comments and things like that as well. So yeah, there's a few different options for sure. And feel free to connect with one of us and we can dive into that a little bit more with you. And then it looks like Jason also has a question. What are some tips to balance a non-dream job with jobs that properly value your skills? All right, that's a really, really good question. So balancing a non-dream job with jobs that properly value your skills. So from what I understand, it seems like that's like it could be like a part-time position or like even a full-time position. But my best suggestion is if you find that your full-time position is not really meeting some of your values or your non-negotiables, that could be a great opportunity to either, number one, like be proactive and ask your supervisor for potentially more opportunities in other things that you're interested in within that company. Or you could even potentially, if you have enough time and are still taking care of yourself and things like that, you could potentially start volunteering in areas where your values are met a little bit more and your skills are met a little bit more. And that's kind of just, one tip on how to do that, how to balance, maybe you're not quite getting your needs met with one job. So maybe you turn to either like a class, a volunteering opportunity to kind of get your needs met in that way. It can make the non-dream job a little bit more bearable for sure. But yeah, and if you want to talk about that a little bit more, feel free to contact me too.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to add to that too. Even in normal times, students don't often start out in their dream job. Oftentimes they have to, you kind of pay your dues, so to speak, before you get what you really want. So just know that, if your dream job isn't out there right now, even those jobs where you're building your skills and getting experience and building your resume are preparing you for when that dream job becomes available. So we're not saying give up on your dream. We're saying you might need to just take something right now to pay the bills until that dream job is available. So that's just another way of looking at it.
Wonderful. All right. And then Maya's question is, what are your thoughts on reaching out to companies that have sent rejection letters to get their feedback? Ooh, that's a really, really good question. And I am a big, big fan of doing that because it can be really helpful to find out, what, no, not what you did wrong, but what could potentially be improved for the future. Whether it's on your resume, your cover letter, your interviewing, things like that. It can be really tough to get that feedback for sure. But I think overall it's definitely worth it because it's just going to give you more information about yourself and will hopefully help you build those skills in the future. So yeah, I think definitely do that. And it also shows companies that, you are interested in what they have to say and that you could use their help in, getting your materials up to what they're kind of looking for. So yeah, I think it can only benefit you if you do it in a good way. Let's see.
Any more questions? How are we doing on time? We're still doing fine. Yeah. Thank you, Brooke. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, I just want to remind you of a few things. Thank you for attending, for one thing. And then reminding you that we still have 3 other webinars this week. We're going to have one on resumes tomorrow. Then Thursday, there's going to be one on that virtual interviewing. And then on Friday, there'll be an employer panel. And that'll have some really great information from employers. So all 3 of those are great. If you haven't already, you can go to Handshake and register for those.
Looks like we have one more question from Caitlin, if that's okay.
Over to that.
Perfect. So, say you applied to a bunch of different jobs and haven't received any feedback. How can I make this better? How can I troubleshoot this? So there could be lots of different things that could be kind of hitting that barrier, to getting feedback and to getting any kind of response from employers. And a lot of it starts with the resume. So you really want to make sure that your resume is hitting keywords from the job description, because a lot of companies are going to be using application tracker systems or some other way that a computer scans your resume and looks for different keywords that are usually within the job description. So really, really make sure you're tailoring your resume to each position. I usually say you want to do quality over quantity. So you really want to make sure that you're submitting quality materials rather than countless numbers of materials. So really try and tailor as best you can. And a lot of students love a good creative resume, but a lot of the times they do that using templates, which aren't the most creative because Google Docs or Microsoft Word makes them. And really you want to focus on your resume as a function rather than really showcasing that creativity, unless you're doing graphic design and things like that. And it can sometimes mess with the application trackers systems too, if you do too much creativity and things like that on your resumes. But really focus on function over formatting. It could also be the cover letter as well. So tailor to that as best you can too. And if you're getting interviews and things like that, that can be a little bit more difficult because you never really know how interviews are going to go without a mock interview or interview preparation. So feel free to reach out for help and we can kind of help you troubleshoot maybe potentially what's going on. I think that answers that question. Hopefully I didn't get too convoluted.
I think it sounded good, Kelley.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Vickie.
Okay, just to remember also that the recordings are going to be available as well as the slide decks for all of our presentations. And for those that have attended, you'll actually receive an email with those attached. And we're also going to put those up on the website. So that's all going to happen next week. And then there's just one more thing that I want to point out. We have another workshop on Tuesday, June 16th. And this is from 11 to 12:30, and it's on being LGBTQIA+ and the job search. And so if you're interested in that, please go and register on Handshake. So with that, thanks again, everyone, for attending. We hope you found this useful, and go out and have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.